Do you want to start this episode? Do you want to lead us in? I'm going to take that as a no. Hi, everyone.
I was trying so hard to think of a good funny. I was legitimately trying, and my brain stopped.
Legitimately trying, and and the result of that is that you just dead air for a good 5 seconds. At this point, I'm mostly relying on the sunk cost fallacy to keep people entertained in this series.
No.
Entertained with us, not the game itself. The game itself is incredibly engaging. I'm just like at some point you just have to look at yourself and be like, I could have just bought this game and finished this probably in like a couple days. But no, I decided to sit around and do the book club with it instead. And we appreciate that about you. Thank you. An hour, maybe more, had passed. Both of us dozed off at one point. We were both sweaty and spent. I visited the desert in my dreams, albeit briefly. The sand felt strange, as if it might all collapse at any moment. Around me, I noticed that soldiers were not swirling in circles. Did they feel uneasy about the sand as well? They were all so far away, and I couldn't tell if they were aware of me. I performed a little twirl, hoping that someone might see. But I caught my foot in the sand and fell flat on my back. I jerked awake, just in time for the eyeball on the ceiling again.
Jerked awake.
Okay, so this is not an important. Yes, jerked awake. That's very funny. This background is used as a generic ceiling background, because we've seen this both in the background when Hetty awakes in her dorm. And now when she's awaking here in her cell, which you could tell we're back in the cell because it's safe place, stay home, right?
She never left the cell.
All right. My heart raced as I took well, no, of course they didn't. Of course she didn't. Her and Angela were fucking.
No, I mean never.
Oh, that's your angle. All right. I'm going to need you to understand on your own why that's not the case, and then we're going to move on. My heart raced as I took stock of the situation. For a split second, I felt like I was back at home or rising for another day of dutiful work in my cell. However, the feeling of another's skin quickly reminded me that things were not so idyllic. I untangled myself from Angela and stepped out of the bed to gather my clothes. Untangled? Come back to me, I'll work on it. I had ended up completely nude in the proceedings. I could feel, as I clammed over her, that Angela had not. It was almost pitch black in my cell, but I knew my way around. I could navigate this place blindfolded. The knife stays there during... Okay, so, I mean, obviously there's a goat head happening right here, but also, the knife and stockings and shoes, those stay on. Jesus Christ, Angela.
Stay strapped at all times. That's the message here.
She still wore her shoes and white stockings. Things had escalated rather quickly then.
Satan could attack at any time. You need to have the knife on you.
God damn. My body burned on the inside. I was equal parts elated and terrified. Elated because I had experienced something undeniably pleasurable. Something that had made me briefly forget all of my troubles. Terrified, of course, because I knew quite well that quick and idle pleasures come at the price down the road. Also, if you leave it in there, isn't that going to, like, shred your stockings? What are your stockings made out of, Angela?
Much less your skin. Maybe it's, like, in a little scabbard or something?
Oh, that's gotta be. Even so, like, that's not going to stop it from, like, walking at a strange angle and poking a hole in your stockings. What are they made of? They got to be made of something heavier than them.
I'm just like, how does that stay up? Like...
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
They've been busy.
The fact that her dagger was tucked neatly inside her leggings did not help either. What made you think that it was just hanging out there and not part of the proceedings? Clearly, we have Hedwig has a history. I'm just saying, the assumption should not be that it was uninvolved. Before I could start getting dressed, Angela awoke as well. She lazily dangled her arm off the bed, more relaxed than I had ever seen her.
Check under the bed one more time.
There really was nothing, Angela.
Just to be sure.
Okay.
Shoes on, too.
Yeah.
Shoes on in bed.
Yep.
Shoes,
She's
knife,
ready.
socks, nothing else.
I can't tell if she's ready to cut and run at any point in time and stab someone, or if that's just her thing. Right? It could go either way. Or maybe it's Hetty's thing and Hetty discovered this. Confused but unwilling to argue, I dropped to my knees once more to rummage around under my old bed.
Legally, it doesn't count as nude if you have at least 3 items of clothing on. And, well, socks, shoes, knife, that's 3.
Wait, what? Hold on. You said... What do you mean legally doesn't count as nude as long as you have 3 pieces of clothing on?
Yeah.
Since when? Where? What are you pulling this from? Cite your source.
I made it up.
Shit. Okay, that's fine. After a few moments, I stood up again, empty-handed. Nothing there, still.
One more time.
I see what you're up to, Angela. Returned to my knees once more. Made a show of sweeping my arms underneath the bed before exasperatedly returning to my feet again. See? I know it's strange the room is empty, but...
Check again.
Angela, really, She smirked, an expression which did not suit her.
Knees. Now.
With a huff, I returned to the floor and checked the darkened alcove. There's still nothing. I scrambled backward to stand up, but I felt something that could only have been Angela's shoe rest against the small of my back.
Did I tell you to stand up?
I feel like we should have negotiated this beforehand. No, but...
Then stay down there.
She was being gentle. I suppose this could even pass for playful. She pressed just hard enough that when I exhaled, I could feel my stomach touch the stone floor. The sensation made me shiver.
Are you comfortable?
No. She giggled. This too suited her poorly.
Liar.
She pressed harder, forcing me into the stone. I groaned involuntarily.
Goodness me.
God damn it. I gotta admit, of all of the revelations to come from this game, Hedwig being this much of a bottom was not the one I expected. Let alone to be this relevant. And just to be clear, I'm not judging any of you bottoms out there. Lord knows you help make the world go around. But god damn. Hedwig, have some pride. She spoke softly, calmly almost, warmly. Apparently satisfied, she removed her shoe from the small of my back, allowing me to slide back out from underneath the bed and stand up. She smiled again, looking me up and down and admiring me.
Open the window.
I stepped over to the shutters and then hesitated. You know, I've had rather bad luck with this. Last 2 times I opened this window, someone saw me naked.
I can see you naked right now.
I acquiesced and opened the window to let the afternoon sun highlight the bumps and lines of my body.
Beautiful.
I feel like you're going for a level of pillow talk that I just don't have any kind of context for. Like, is this hot? Is that what this is? I could feel my cheeks burning.
Perhaps the Superior was right to drag you out of here. What a shame it would have been to have you waste away in here all alone. All that fear, all that anguish. I might say it was all worth it for this.
Unsure how to respond, I instead gave a little twirl in the sunlight.
Come here.
I patted over the stone floor back toward Angela, who pulled me in for another kiss, which I accepted gratefully.
How was I?
Your aim has improved significantly. I am not sure how to answer that.
You laid with Catherine? How do I compare?
I couldn't help but cough. Very well. Please don't make me say more.
Sworn to secrecy, are you? What has she told you?
Lots. She does seem to like me quite a bit. She even confided in me about her husband.
Oh, what about her husband?
I felt a jolt of regret. I had assumed that everyone knew and had simply been made equal. She just told me about the whole scenario. What everyone knows, I assume. I winced, hoping that would be enough. In my head, I said a little apology to Catherine with a K.
Cryptic as always, and as hurried as ever. Why are you out of bed? What else is there to do today but enjoy one another's company? Stay a while.
No. I should like that very much, but I have so much to do.
Oh, your chronicles. You'll leave all of this out, of course.
I shook my head. I'm not chronicling. Angela cocked an eyebrow as I began to get dressed. Well, I should take the sword to the superior, for one thing. It's been left under my bed for far too long, and she'll need to hear about Eustace's continued neglect. If we're going to move against Eustace, I want to do it quickly. And there are those new Oblates who I should really get to know better, even if they couldn't possibly have been involved. Plus, of course, there's this strange whistle that I saw Charity give.
Half of all you just listed doesn't strike me as related.
That's true. I should simply focus on one thing at a time.
I didn't imagine you'd run to the superiors straight away. And then once you're done there, you're going to keep investigating.
Yes, of course. Angela looked at me, seemingly bewildered. Should I not?
By all means, I suppose. I don't know. I thought we had just established the futility of it all.
We did. And you are welcome to consider our pact ended once I make my case to the superior, but that does not mean I'm giving up. With Eustace gone, I might at least be able to make sense of the rest one day. Angela stood up then embraced me.
I'm not giving up. I would hate to lose you so soon after claiming you.
What? Can you say that word again? I'm unsure how I felt about it, so I wanted you to run it by me a few more times.
Which word? Lose?
No.
Soon.
Half of the ad-libs now are just going to be Hedwig being bottom. This is all this is going to be. That's all there is left in this Let's Play. Thanks for coming, everyone.
We do have some sort of connection, yes?
Yes. I leaned forward to attempt to give her a kiss, although my lips ended up somewhere on her chin. I wasn't very good at this. But I cannot just stop. Danger or no, I have a duty. If this truly is futile, then I'm glad to have you as a confidant. Angela pulled away from me and nodded, although her expression was very dark.
I understand. However...
Yes?
Never mind.
Okay.
Do what you must. And good luck.
I nodded firmly.
We can meet again when there is news. Perhaps next time we can celebrate Eustace's arrest.
I should like that very much. I just realized there's only like 2 ways this episode ends, right?
Yeah?
Right? Either Eustace is indeed charged and is brought away, or Eustace ends up dead.
Or Eustace turns it around and Hedwig ends up arrested.
That's true. No matter what happens, the status quo with Eustace will not survive the end of this volume, will it?
I've been sus this whole volume that Eustace is going to vanish. Like, even that whole thing, like, oh, we're not enemies anymore. We never really were. All of that, like, that feels like trying to wrap up things before, like, piecing out in the middle of the night.
Right, trying to make her peace before.
So I would not be shocked if, like, Hedwig takes us all to the superior, the bishop and the superior are like, oh, we finally got a thing. We gotta do something.
Hedwig,
blah, blah, blah.
She left 14 hours ago.
And then, yep.
Yeah. It also, and when I've gone back and editing, it kind of seemed like the whole part where she was talking to the church and apologizing for setting for getting things on fire, almost felt like she was making her case to whatever cadre that she feared. Like, they're like, I see I fucked up. I've tried to cover my tracks. Please let me be, and I'm gonna leave, kind of thing.
The lack of committal nature as well to what comes next for you and so on, being like,
like, it really feels like she's made her appeal. But if that is the case, that's interesting then, because Eustace is allegedly in this in-group that Catherine has named. And yet, so then who does she have to fear?
Who did Catherine have to fear?
Catherine seems to fear the in-group. Right, the in-group she fingered, which...
No. I mean dead Catherine.
Oh, dead Catherine. I don't know. See, and this is why we have the with the C and with the K, for this exact reason. Angela hates the 1 and 2 schema as much as I do, so this is clearly the better option.
I feel like if you tried to replace the 1 and 2 with a C and with a K, Angela would put out a cigarette on you.
Well, if I'm Hetty in this situation, then... God damn it. We went so long in this game without making it, like, stupid horny, and now we're just... We're professionals, goddammit. And we've been staring at a goat head for the past 5 minutes. Let's move on.
Well, y'all have.
I should like that very much. Oh, someone in the Discord asked me why goat heads, and I realized it's been long enough that maybe people don't know why we do goat heads. The answer is that it's a reference to the hit Twine game Sabbat, a game in which you can have your genitalia transmuted into a goat head that screams blasphemies.
Yes.
So that's why we cover all the naughty bits with goat heads on this channel.
They serve no sexual purpose. You can try.
Yeah,
it won't work.
You could try making out with the goat head, and it just keeps trying to scream at you while you do it. And there's nothing to be gotten out of it. It's just there. It's doing its job. Anyway. She nodded again, then bent over to gather her clothes.
You leave first. We should spread out.
Oh, God. Of course. I, have a pleasant rest of your day, Sister Angela.
You as well, Sister Hedwig.
Should we do, like, a handshake? Is that appropriate?
I think we're supposed to high five.
It was nice doing a sex with you. 4.5 stars.
Vade retro satanas. 4.5. You try to kill me?
I retrieved the sword and quickly wrapped it in my cloak and then took my leave. The walk back through the darkened hall didn't unnerve me at all. My mind was far too busy reliving every last detail of Angela and I's time together. The mire of the investigation and the threats looming over me still, not to mention the pitch black hall. Should have had me terrified, but Angela's hands had rearranged something inside of me. Fuck, we're gonna get through this, okay? I felt satisfied in a way I never had before. Confident in a fashion that surprised me. Yeah, that post-coital glow will do it to you. I emerged into the light and carried on down the hallway toward the stairs down to the cloister. I could hear the builders in the distance hard at work on the tower. Their voices carried throughout the courtyard easily. My heart jumped a little as I wondered if any sounds from my old cell had carried outside. Had any of them heard us? What if? What if? I was so absorbed in this thought that I stopped looking where I was going and careened straight into Margaret's back.
Whoa, steady on.
Oh, I am sorry. I was distracted.
No worries. I suppose I'm normally the one scaring you. What's that?
Wait, what do you mean you're normally the one scaring me?
Because Margaret has a tendency to be incredibly quiet and also pop up in random places because of secret passages and
Right,
stuff.
okay. So it's not something else. Got it. She nodded toward the bundle I was carrying. It was trapped. Well, I was on my way to accuse Eustace anyway. It's the sword.
What, Catherine's sword? Where did you find that?
Outside, if you can believe it.
What, you mean in the cloister, or...
No. It's by the outer wall, by the back entrance.
Huh. Any idea why?
Not at all. I was on my way to take it back to the Superior.
Bit of a long route.
I was going to take a stop into the dorms first to, check in on Darcy. Hey there, Margaret. What's with that side eye?
Huh.
That's not unexpected, right? Because if she is part of that in-group that Catherine with a K mentioned...
Yep.
Again, Hedwig has made the leap that group is the one responsible for the sword, and Margaret isn't doing herself any favors with this reaction, but again, we don't know that for certain.
She's up and about, I think. Or, well, she's up. Maybe not about. I heard her and Moira chatting about plants.
That's great news!
Yeah. Listen, Catherine and I are gonna skip luncheon and eat with the men in a minute.
Oh!
Would you like to join?
Oh, I appreciate the invitation, but... The men?
I should come clean. It's lunch with my father, really. Which is why I wouldn't mind having you there. You're a good sort and clever. He'll have lots to talk to you about.
Why?
So he doesn't have to talk to me. The conversation is going to dry up quickly if he asks me what I've been up to for all these years. Plus, if you're there, there's one more person to stare daggers at Catherine if she makes a pass at him.
I love the idea of Catherine willingly making a pass at Margaret's father. Like, you have to imagine... She understands what she's doing, right? That there's no obliviousness on her part.
Oh, that's your dad? Great, now I'm definitely gonna.
You think she would do that? Right in front of you?
You're right. Perhaps a third time would be too shameless even for her.
She...
Twice last night, yeah. I don't think he noticed, but I certainly did.
Oh dear.
Indeed. So, meet you there after you've said hello to Darcy and dropped that sword off with the Superior?
Well, I will be there.
Cheers. Right, see you later then.
There's an eye in the fireplace there. We parted ways.
The Ire place.
Shit, you're right. It's where I keep all my anger. That's what you meant, right? Ire place?
What?
Because you said the ire place, like an eye, or like you're putting the word eye in fireplace. And then I said ire place. That's where I keep all my anger.
Oh!
Ire place.
That's really good.
Thank you.
For some reason, I got confused because I was trying to parse it as anything else, and then I was like, oh, Eier, like the plural of eggs in German. And I was like, wait, why would eggs make me angry? Why would I be angry about eggs? I would love to have a place for eggs.
Bold of you to assume I know any German.
Me neither.
I had not, in fact, been planning on seeing Darcy before the Superior, but I was stuck now. Headed into the dorms and deposited the swaddled sword on my bed hastily, not wanting to answer questions about it a second time. Then dashed over to Darcy's door, which was ajar. This just keeps happening to doors in this abbey. I poked my head in to see Darcy awake and pacing around her room. Moira had already left, it would seem.
Oh, hello.
Greetings! I just wanted to see how you were doing.
Horrid headache, but aside from that, well, I am alive at least.
Hedwig apologized for not going with her. Yes, thank God for that.
Could you close the door?
I obliged, then took the chair next to her bed. I had things to do, but Darcy's tone concerned me greatly. What's wrong? What happened? Darcy, I'm so sorry. I should have been there to help you so you wouldn't have to be alone. She raised her hand to silence me.
You have nothing to apologize for. I am just glad you did not suffer the same fate as me.
Darcy, you are entirely too good for this world. Do you know that?
But I want to tell you some things, and I need you to keep them a secret until I decide it is time to tell somebody else.
Oh,
Did the light just go out of her eyes in that sprite?
oh goodness. God, no, Darcy. Very well.
First of all, I can tell you what happened. This is not the secret. This I also told Moira. The reason I was so late and so injured is I had to walk back up the hill, which was awful. But also, halfway up, I got run off the road by the builder's caravan.
No.
Yes,
What?
I don't think they saw me through the rain, and it was too loud to hear me shout until it was too late. I nearly got trampled by their horses and almost got squashed by their wagons, and I rolled down the hill and hurt my leg.
So why was she trying to walk back up instead of waiting to take a cart like she... Unless it is indeed, as we suspected, that James is usually the one whose cart she is on, right?
Who else comes up here? He would bring the mail, he would tend the animals.
Yep.
Then I had to crawl all the way back to the road with a twisted ankle, and then hobble all the way back up to the Abbey in the rain. Moira says I am lucky to be alive. Now I want to tell you the part that is secret.
I love so much that Darcy is very specific about what part is the secret and what part is not the secret. Thank you, Darcy.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Something terrible has happened in the village, and that is why I had to walk. Normally I would get a ride from the farmer or the farmer's boy, but, well, I suppose the farmer's boy is locked up, and the farmer is dead.
What? That's new. Dad?
He is dead, and a lot of people in the village are dead.
What the
So that I didn't expect.
No, that's not what I expected at all either. And I'm going to let Darcy finish, but just one thing immediately comes to mind. If that is all true, how come no one in the caravan has said anything?
Huh,
They came up the same hill she did.
That is weird.
Presumably the only way up to Linbarrow is through the town, right? Especially if it's the road that Darcy was on. So if it's true that a lot of people in the village are dead, how come no one in the caravan, the builder's caravan, has said anything about it?
yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
His wife spoke to me through the door. I thought something was strange when I got there with the sheep, and nobody was there to meet me. I stabled them and knocked on the door to let the farmer know, and his wife answered, and she begged me not to go into town. People are dying and vomiting and shaking.
Oh. Plague?
Yep.
I took several steps away from Darcy toward the door. I might have led a sheltered existence to myself, but even I knew about the plague. News of Florence's woes was the one constant in the meager news of missives I would receive, alongside new books to fill.
Wait, so this isn't Black Plague, though, is it? Let me check some time periods.
Yeah, go for it. It would be good to know specifically what we're talking about here.
So, the Black Plague, the original massive outbreak, the one we all learn about in school and so on, that wiped out like half the population of Europe.
Yep.
That was a pretty contained time period in
Okay.
the 14th century.
Okay, and that's 1300s, yep.
Yes.
It's about 100 or so years before this game.
Yep. However,
Yep.
it did indeed spread again a couple times later
Uh-huh.
in less omnipresent and less mass destructive ways.
Okay.
And in fact, well into the 18th century, there were small outbreaks and so on. It was a sort of thing that, like, you'd have an outbreak and it would subside.
Okay.
But it seems that Florence was one such place that during the 15th century did have another outbreak that fucked it up.
Okay. So that's what they meant by news of Florence's woes was one of the constants. So it'd be the kind of thing where, like, it was expected that this would. It's not unheard of that this is. Okay. Cool. So now Hetty is hearing what Darcy says and assumes, because that's her one touch point, this must be Black Plague as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which wouldn't even have been called Black Plague at this point. It got named the Black Death later.
Yeah. I mean, like, we have obviously a lot of hindsight here, but anyway.
Calm down. There is no miasma here. We are far away from the village.
Why can't you tell Moira this? She's the expert. Surely she could help.
I cannot tell anybody because I do not want to cause a panic. Precisely the way you reacted is what I would like to avoid.
But what if it is the plague?
Whatever it is not plague. What I would like you to do is tell Moira that I am going to sleep for a while and do not require her assistance until I call for it. I will rest for a day or two and see if I develop any symptoms. If I do not, well, hooray! And if I do, well, you can tell everyone why I am staying in here until I die.
Darcy,
Please?
Holy fuck, Darcy. I mean, the presence of mind on her, for one thing, and a continual nothing but selflessness from Jesus Christ. Darcy, if you die, we riot.
Nobody goes down to the village anyway. Nobody needs to know until I am safe. I can tell the whole story to everybody when I am well.
But how do you know it's not plague? Darcy stared off into the middle distance, looking more serious than I had ever seen her.
I know it is not plague. It is nothing good, but you can trust my word that it is not the plague.
What did you see?
I would rather not talk about it.
Okay, but why not tell Moira? Why me?
Well, I wanted to tell somebody, and I would rather tell you, because I trust you. And if you are the last person I ever see, that would be better than seeing Moira last.
Wow, shots fired at Moira. Oh, Darcy. What about Eustace?
I would not want to worry her. You I trust differently. I do not intend to worry you, to be clear. Just, I don't know.
I think I understand. I do appreciate it. I backed toward the door. I will tell Moira, and I will see you soon. You will be well soon. Do you understand?
Thank you, Hedwig. We shall see. If you are wrong, well, I am glad I met you. You are always helpful, and I am glad I can trust you.
God damn it, Darcy! Stop raising death flags! I offered a weak smile and left the room. How could I accept such kindness from Darcy when I was about to accuse her closest friend of such heinous acts? Tears welled up in my eyes as I retrieved the bundled sword from my room. And after retrieving it from under my bed, I carefully wrapped the scapula alongside the blade.
You carefully what?
I carefully wrapped the scapula alongside the blade.
Carefully what?
Scapula alongside the blade?
Carefully what?
Raptula?
Yeah.
Oh! I understand now.
So I'm interested in a couple things about that.
Yeah.
One
okay,
is
okay.
what you said. It seems that nobody in the builders is mentioning this plague outbreak or whatever, or not plague outbreak. This people are dead. It's people aren't leaving their homes. Like, did they really just zip through town that quickly and not even stop by and not notice anything's weird? It's possible, but it's
strange
weird.
credulity, right?
2, why is Darcy so certain it's not plague? Is it just that she knows plague and like has seen it and this isn't like it? Or did she see something else that clues her into what it is and it's something she doesn't want to say? Like someone poisoned the town or something and she saw...
I think just on the like if we take the most generous reading of things, I think they're like either indeed Darcy has encountered plague before and knows what it is like, or your other thing, she did indeed see something and knows what it is. But either way, that doesn't change that she needs to quarantine herself for a moment to make sure that she's not going to spread anything. And in the meantime, making everyone freak out isn't going to change what needs to happen.
The other thing I wonder, aside from those two, is what else could it be if not plague? Could it be something like ergotism? Could it be that the town's wheat supply was contaminated and they've all eaten toxic bread?
Well, they got one of those dancing plagues, don't you know?
Yeah. It wasn't the dancing plague, some folks thought it could be ergotism sometimes or something. I don't remember.
Sorry, you got me in the middle of a sip of water. I do not recall. Oh, that was a few episodes back we were talking about that. But that might be another thing to put on the list then of things it might be. I guess the question is, like, no matter what it is, how does it affect what's happening up here at the Abbey right now, right? And the only vectors there are the building company and Darcy herself. So I guess we'll have to keep our eye on them to see if anything changes or develops, right? If people in the building company start getting sick or something like that, then it is also weird. And again, or it's so weird that no one said anything about it. Hetty's about to go to lunch with Crispin. Maybe she'll ask him.
Yeah. There's one other person who hypothetically could have been in the town.
Hypothetically could have been it when?
Who has a long block of time where nobody could find them? A very long block of time.
Eustace?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unlikely, but I'm just thinking, like, who possibly could it be? We know of two groups of folks who were there, but we do know of at least one other person that she could be lying about being in the sacristy all day. She could have run down to town to do something nefarious and run back up. And
another data point. We do know it has to be relatively recent.
Yeah.
Bridget and Violet are
just came up. That was only a few days
and brought
ago.
No news of that.
Yep.
So, and that was only a few days ago. So this has to be recent.
Yep.
So that's another data point worth remembering. And it's been a few days we've seen them. So presumably over that same time period that Darcy prescribed for herself, right? We would have seen something in their behavior. We would have seen them get sick or something change, right?
Yep.
And we haven't. So I think maybe we can like soft clear that and say that, you know, barring further evidence, it seems likely it started after that point.
You know what it is? I've cracked the code wide open.
Okay, hit me.
Crispin is a Nurgle cultist.
Is this a 40K?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, that's not my kind of trans. I don't I don't know anything about 40K. Listen, when I filled out my trans application, I put down Match at the Gathering and impeccable taste in music, okay? I remembered Flora's dull knife. Would I have a reason to share it? My focus was Eustace's guilt. I'd hoped that I would not have to betray Flora to the Superior, but just in case. I did my best to steel myself. Darcy's heart might break if Eustace was apprehended, but it was better than living forever with Catherine's murderess. I wonder... Just another thing that I was thinking in my head. Back in the present day narrative, and how it's... And how, like, they talk about, like, the killer nun and all that. I have to wonder if the Catherine thing matters in the modern day.
Yeah.
Where, like, hearsay and has maybe jumbled up what is attributed to which Catherine.
And I feel like that could be a cool thing with our viewpoint switching device.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what if we start getting evidence from the stuff Alex and Tatiana find out about, that we start piecing together with this here, but it's been filtered through a couple hundred years, and oops, we might be getting info about the wrong Catherine.
Yeah, exactly. That's it hasn't really come up just yet, but like it's been percolating in the back of my mind for a little bit as well.
Because that definitely happens in real history, where we just
absolutely.
like suddenly discover in like 2025, oh, actually this guy was two different guys, and we didn't know that
Whoops-a-doodle.
because they just didn't.
Yeah, it's because
have the
like even
records for
historians
that.
are still making like educated, but still making trying to find the best version of the facts that they have. And sometimes real life is weirder than what the facts would tell you. I jogged back down the stairs and made for the Superior's office as quickly as I could. No eyeballs this time. I could hear that the men were still hard at work on the tower. I was still not used to hearing so much noise in the cloister.
So much what?
Noister.
There we go. I get it now.
Okay. Someone needs to do a supercut of all the times we've done the portmanteaus. It's going to be just the most unlistenable, like, hour and a half of your life.
It would be like 50 hours long, too.
Jesus Christ.
Good timing. I was about to start looking for you. Do you have a report?
Yes.
See, Mabel? We can always trust her.
Indeed. What is that?
She gestured at the bundle I was carrying. It is the sword. It was time to make my case. My mind
Ace
was...
Attorney music sets in.
do, 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 do. We don't have any music right now, but if there's ever a time for the Ace Attorney case theme, it's going to be right now.
Has it just been silent so far this episode?
Not the entire episode, but it's been silent for a little while now.
Okay.
My mind was racing, and I was quickly gathering and discarding the information I felt would best single out Eustace. I had to focus on her. Everything else, anything without an answer, I could deal with later. The second sword, the shelves, these would be easier to inspect without Eustace breathing down my neck. I walked over to the Superior's desk and laid down the cloak with a thud. I saw the Superior's eyes widen as I unwrapped it to reveal the weapon.
My word. Where did you find this? Did it go missing in the fire?
Before the fire. I think I found it outside.
Outside?
Where exactly? And when?
I picked it up by the back entrance of the Abbey a day ago. But I suspect it may have been there for a long time. It was rather drenched, and I think I saw someone put it there.
Setting aside that you kept this unthinkably important evidence from me until now, you only think you saw somebody place the sword where you found it.
I could not tell her that I had put it there after finding it once before, lest I be interrogated further. All I could do was hope that Eustace's carelessness would be found at fault here, and not Catherine with the K's behavior. It was a lie by omission, certainly, but there's simply no way I could tell the whole truth about the sword's movements. I reasoned as quickly as I could. I could tell the truth about Catherine's use of the sword. Eustace's impropriety and carelessness, after all, was still the moral of that story. Do you remember the night that Catherine with a K dragged me in here unconscious?
Naturally.
You weren't given the whole truth. Catherine did not find me fainted on the side of the path. I caught her coming back from the hospitalum. I saw her hiding something behind her back before I fainted. I did faint, that aspect was true. And she was no longer carrying it when I awoke. The bishop and superior exchanged looks.
Are you quite certain?
Yes. But truly, I think that the most suspicious thing here was that she was able to get the sword in the first place. The bishop grumbled worriedly.
You are positive she came back from the hospitalum?
Yes, it was by her own admission.
She told you this. Why?
Because I thought I had caught her up to no good, and I had, just not that sort of no good.
What did she tell you, Hedwig?
That she had been there specifically to visit James.
Good lord.
Hedwig, why did you keep this from me?
Because she threatened me. Things were going sideways quickly. Suppose she didn't threaten me explicitly. She just asked me to keep it a secret because she was embarrassed.
Embarrassed? Why embarrassed?
Because her and James they had a carnal relationship, and I don't know, perhaps we're discussing that.
You need to speak to this woman, Mabel.
Yes, I do. Veiled threats, sneaking around with a sword, fornication with a man under my roof, and a history of violence.
Veiled threat? No. Listen to me. The sword was Eustace's responsibility. It's been carelessly passed around due to lack of care.
Eustace has already vacated her position.
Oh no. Oh no, Catherine is going to be the one this gets put on.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Catherine saw coming, right?
Catherine was absolutely right. There's no way that mentioning this at all can come off well, because the only person who anyone's going to suspect is Catherine, regardless of what the evidence in fact points to.
Yep.
She apologized to me directly for her negligence.
But
why are you questioning me?
Catherine with a K is not suspicious. Eustace is. The superior folded her hands together.
Sister Hedwig, it sounds to me as if you are letting your personal grudge with Sister Eustace interfere with your common sense. Unless you can tell me why Eustace is more suspicious, I have no choice but to ignore your pleas here.
The shelves, all those books gone! But alas, that would make me look mad. Instead, I had only one gambit left.
Mention the fucking shelves! Oh my god!
The shelves in the place where no one can follow her? Yeah, that'll work.
No one has established that no one can follow her. One weird thing happened and they've never gone back.
According to Hedwig, twice it's happened.
One of which, one with people here.
True.
Like,
that allowed me to present my second piece of evidence. I pulled the cloak aside to reveal the charred remains I had been hiding in my room. Oh, they're charred.
Lord.
God in heaven.
What? What is this?
I found it in the sacristy before the room could be cleaned. I believe it to be a scapula.
A what?
A shoulder bone, I believe. I heard Flora asking about scapulomancy in the library not too long ago. With Eustace, no less.
Whose bone would this be?
I can only think of one answer.
You believe this to be a piece of the late Sister Catherine?
Impossible. She was buried in the graveyard.
Be that as it may. Who else's remains could these possibly be?
My reasoning exactly.
Anyone but Catherine's. I watched her casket as it was lowered into the earth.
But did you look inside?
No.
If the body and the coffin were out of your sight for any amount of time, Hedwig's theory is plausible.
Indeed it is. God, cover that thing back up. It's too horrible to look at.
So what do you think this means, Hedwig? Why do you think Catherine's remains were in the sacristy?
I cannot say for sure, but my real theory was impossible to prove. Even if I convinced the superior and bishop of Eustace's guilt, Angela was right. The full story was one the two of us would take to the grave. No one would ever believe the details. I'm gonna convict Eustace by throwing Flora and Catherine under the bus.
yeah, this is going so sideways, so fast.
How did she think this was gonna... Alright. Flora was attempting to hide the fact that she had been carving a magic circle into the walls of the abbey. I even found the knife that she used to do it. Arranged the cloak to reveal this extra evidence.
Did Flora do this of her own accord?
No. In fact, she refused to tell me whoever put such a ghastly idea into her head. It seems likely that she was manipulated by someone into taking part in some dark ritual.
And gaining 3 black mana.
I wasn't going to make the joke, but I'm glad
At
you did.
instant speed.
I'm sorry, I thought it was an interrupt. Oh, wait, no, I'm being told now it's a mana source. I assumed that was out of loyalty, but what if it was out of fear?
How ghastly. So, magic circles and an offhand mention of scapulomancy. What is scapulomancy?
Scapulomancy is a forward-looking bit of sorcery, if I recall correctly.
Forward-looking.
Fortune-telling, you know. It is expressly forbidden.
I am aware of the artes prohibiti, yes.
Eustace claims she let the sacristy catch fire by accident. She could be telling the truth, but I think her admission might be drawing attention away from darker details.
You believe she was performing some kind of ritual in the room, and then what? She knocked a candle over?
She was locked up in there for quite a long time.
Do you have any other ritual materials we could take a look at? I might be able to identify them.
Why would you be an authority? Never mind, we're moving past that. We're moving past the fact that you seem to be an authority on this. Sadly, no. The magic circle Flora had been carving is gone.
The church notably maintains sizable Index Librorum Prohibitorum and so on.
Yep.
They've definitely, I don't know about this time period, but it's a thing the Catholic Church does, have people whose job it is to keep track of the forbidden shit that you can't know.
Someone's got to know what it is, otherwise you can't prohibit it.
Yep.
One of the holes the builders were summoned to repair, ironically.
You keep mentioning this circle of Flora's. Why didn't you tell me about this before?
Because she begged me not to. And, well, I was worried I would look a little mad. You got quite cross with me when I spoke of ghosts and so on.
Now, Sister Hedwig, I warn you.
Mabel, not now.
Wait! There is still a circle. In the hospitalum. I froze. How could I have been so stupid? I should have warned the superior about the circle in James's dungeon a long time before this. My loyalties were getting so crisscrossed. No choice but to defend myself if this obvious mistake was pointed out. James claims that the devil spoke to him, brought him extra food, and has been doling out lessons in dark magic.
Now really, Hedwig, why hadn't I heard of this until this moment?
Had I told you before now, would you have listened? The night Flora was rescued, I tried to tell you the mad things I had seen, and you insisted that I focus on real things to report.
Be that as it may.
Silence!
I had never heard the bishop so angry. To be honest, I scarcely believed the noise had come from him. His expression had barely changed. The superior maintained her composure but fell silent.
Treat this poor girl with some dignity. I remember hearing unkind words from you about Hedwig's ghost tale the night Flora was found. It would seem that it is time you and I took her words seriously.
Mabel's little side eye.
Now, before we leave to inspect the circle you claim is in the hospitalum, is there anything else you have to share with us? Anything unusual, unexplainable that you perhaps were holding back and sharing for fear of how you would be treated?
Yes. I spoke before I could think better of it. I had come here with the express desire to discuss Eustace and only Eustace, but the bishop's kindness and his rebuking of the superior disarmed me utterly. I have been working on a larger theory. Catherine II, Eustace, Moira, and Margaret were all very close. I have no idea what they were working on, but I've heard from several people they were doing something secretive together right before the end. They all leave out smoke out of their descriptions of the morning Catherine was found.
Wait. Hold up.
Wasn't that not the case?
That was not the case, right? There wasn't
Yeah.
a pattern.
Yeah, because what she said with Angela, that there was... Hedwig is lying to make her story more credible here. Anyway.
This sucks. Hedwig.
Hedwig, listen, I said it once, I'll say it again. Hedwig believes that she is an agent of Satan and has to cause chaos and sow discord. And she is doing that while trying to present the most blameless version of her story possible. The one that excuses all of her transgressions while conveniently allowing her to create such discord around everything that happens and drives people further away from the actual truth. I'm committing. That's my theory. Even if it's not literally true, I believe that Hedwig believes that she is.
I think I'm committing to Catherine 2 is still alive theory. I think that's my big swing I'm committing to.
Is that all?
Well, I just mean, it's an ongoing thing. I'm doing my best to look into.
They were probably buggering each other in the cellars or some such. It matters not.
There you go again, Mabel. You commanded this girl to be your spy. Why do you dismiss all of her findings so rudely? Surely she was implying that Eustace could have been the ringleader of some kind of scheme that'd be worth pressing those women on.
That is not my intent. I merely have the good sense to know what does and does not matter.
Evidently not. Sister Hedwig, would you take us to the hospitalum and show us the circle?
Now? Stupidly, I thought about my promise to Margaret. Hoped I could still make that luncheon, even though this was obviously far more important.
Of course.
Certainly.
I suppose there is no time like the present.
She was glaring at me oddly. The bishop made ready to leave. The superior lifted up the sword and bone, slipped the bone into a drawer, and disappeared into the bedroom to hide the sword. When she reemerged, she nodded curtly toward the cloak on the desk.
You may keep that.
I put it on somewhat sheepish.
Okay, let's talk about Mabel.
Yeah.
Mabel seems... Isn't this what you wanted? She's done, and then... Did Mabel really not want Hedwig to actually be able to find anything? Does Mabel know what was going on and thought having someone to come in and look into it and fail spectacularly was the right call?
On the flip side, I being the one that advanced that theory, I believe it less after seeing this. She
Okay.
seemed incredibly interested as long as it was Catherine that was at fault.
I see.
And as soon
She's
as all this
only-
other stuff comes up, and of course, she doesn't believe in ghosts or witchcraft or any of this nonsense. So tuning out the rest of it and being like, "What the fuck, Hedwig?
Thank
what are you
God for-
finding?"
Thank God for Tricky Dick, am I right?
So it's it strikes me as being par for the course with her hubris, right? Where she thinks she's got everything under control and knows what's going on and is making the right calls, when very evidently she does not understand the full scope of what's going on. But that's hard for her to accept. That's at least, I think, a viable reading.
The journey to the hospitalum was wordless. Evidently furious with the bishop for speaking back to her in my defense, the superior had marched ahead of us the whole way. The bishop appeared to take it in stride, to his credit. Begun to doubt how useful his presence was some time ago, but at the very least I appreciated his focus on the matter at hand. God, I had a moment where the back of the cell looked like a face, and I was just done at that point. I know that is undoubtedly pareidolia, but still, I was just ready to march on out of here. I was not looking forward to witnessing James's madness. Unfortunately, that might have been preferable to what awaited us.
Where is he?
Don't joke, Mabel.
I am not joking, Richard.
She was not joking. James's cell was empty.
Where is he, Hedwig?
I have no idea!
Shit! Fuck!
The superior began to hastily fumble with her key ring. She eventually found the key she needed and practically flung the gate to the dungeon open.
Perhaps he climbed out the window.
He pointed up at the small hole in the ceiling that I had eavesdropped on Catherine with a K through.
Impossible. Hedwig, show me this sigil before we leave. We need to form a search party as soon as possible.
Step forward. The smell was so rank I coughed. Pointed at the crudely carved magic circle. Bishop peered at it, wrinkling his nose. He looked very grave.
This is indeed dark magic.
What if the bishop knows that there's a conspiracy going on here and has seen parts in Hedwig's story that point to it and knows to take it seriously, not the magic part of it, but the actual conspiracy that's going on here?
That could be. Counterpoint. What if in this universe dark magic is absolutely real and the bishop recognizes and knows this because it's been used before?
Yeah, I'm just so surprised Bishop Richard is ready to come in and bat for Hetty on this one.
Yeah. I think Hedwig is also surprised, huh?
And I think he's about to say the exact same thing about what it does.
Yep.
And it explains James's disappearance, I'm afraid.
What do you mean?
If I remember correctly, this is indeed a location transfer spell. Hedwig was correct,
Meaning?
meaning your prisoner is long gone.
Wow. And of all the things to back her up on, what the fuck?
So now,
By Shonen Richard, what is your deal?
I'm suspicious of two people now about this.
Yep.
One is Mabel, someone who has the key ring.
Yep.
There aren't just keys to the hospitalum floating around. So, I mean, I guess either someone gets a hold of her key ring or she is involved. Could she have let out James somehow and be play acting this?
Okay. Because James did claim to be let out by now and then by the prince, right? The
Yeah.
prince is who he claims let him out. Interesting.
Flip side, other person I'm suspicious of now is the bishop for playing along with this so much and everything down to it's a location transfer spell and so on. And like, your prisoner is long gone. And
Yep.
like, he's also in Mabel's room all the time. So if anyone was to have easy access to the keys while she was sleeping or something,
It would be him.
It would be him.
What's weirdest to me is that his explanation lines up exactly with James's,
Yep.
right? Maybe it's the fact that they both read the same thing recorded down somewhere, or maybe he is indeed the one letting him out. But you're like the fact that he's always present in her room. Yeah. You're right. It's got to be one of these two has to be in on something here.
That or it's much easier to steal the superior's keys than we think.
Yeah. Even with Richard in there, though. Huh. It would be so hard to imagine anyone else stealing the keys, but... Or maybe there's another key we don't know about, or maybe there's another way into the cell. Just drop a ladder, right?
You're right. And you know what they
It doesn't
say?
even
Ladders
have
are
to-
for breaking.
Ladders are for You know what they say? Ladders are for breaking. What's that? Is that Dimension 20, the episode we
Yes.
just watched? Okay, okay. Sorry. Superior paced around the dungeon for a moment and let out a frustrated howl. And again, for reasons I think we've discussed a long time before, I find it hard to believe the superior is actually complicit in what's going on here.
Yep.
I find it most reasonable to believe that her desire to find some culpable person or find whoever did indeed kill Catherine is genuine, if misguided and clouded by her own preconceived notions about who that would be.
We shall leave. This sign. I do not like being in its presence.
The superior nodded. We turned to leave. Did either of you hear something just now?
Nothing but my blood pounding in my head, I'm afraid.
I did not.
Oh,
What a horrid discovery.
We need men looking for James dawn to dusk.
There is no use, Mabel. He's just as likely in Constantinople as anywhere close.
The spell is that powerful?
Indeed.
I was preoccupied turning Flora's conversation about the sigil over in my head. Who had taught it to her? There was something admirable about her loyalty, however misplaced it was, but whoever it was had also taught James. Why? I had my suspicions. The mood was very low when we re-entered the superior's office.
God in heaven, what do we do now?
You'll have to notify the diocese immediately.
I don't want to do that until I have a culprit to hand over at the same time.
Really, Mabel? After all of this, you're still looking to save face?
It's not about saving face. It's the right thing to do. It's more important than ever that I show them that action has been taken.
Then I must reiterate. The time was now. Our culprit is Eustace.
Are you certain?
Accuso. Here we go. Who else but her? Someone taught Flora and James the same spell. It stands to reason it would have to be the same woman dabbling with other artes prohibiti in the sacristy. What's more, James told Angela that he'd been visited by the devil. Eustace dressed up as a ghost to scare me and everyone else in the Misericorde.
But as far as I am aware, Eustace has always insisted that James was the killer. Why set him free?
Because he knows! Why else would Eustace visit him in disguise and offer help? She was able to deduce that he knew the truth and struck a deal with him in exchange for his silence. Better to send him far away than keep him here. If he was captured, he might be forced to talk before being hanged.
But
I didn't let her finish. I was using every move I had that didn't involve revealing my own madness. Missing books in the shifting library were the real evidence, but perhaps if I gave the superior everything else. Not to mention that she has shown a flagrant disregard for the sword she was entrusted to take care of. The sword that Catherine was killed with.
I see.
I hesitated for a moment and tried to think of any last-minute bids for Eustace's guilt, but there was nothing else I could say.
It's as good a theory as any, Mabel.
Indeed it is. Leave us be for now, Hedwig. You have done very well, but there is much Richard and I must discuss now.
I bowed my head and left the office. Queasy as I was, I felt a certain duty to keep up appearances. As I always had, I suppose. I had promised Margaret I would attend lunch with her and her father, although it was surely late by now. Picked up my pace. Catherine, with a K, would be there at least. I was anxious to let her know that I delivered all my evidence against Eustace. Not over dinner, of course, but nonetheless. The men's camp sprawled out around the Abbey's front entrance. There were several large tents housing rows of cots, as well as ones filled with rows of chests, crates, barrels, tools. Larger still were the carts filled with cut stones. There were builders working in these still, moving massive rocks on complicated-looking systems of ropes, ramps, and wheels. The men shouted out at each other in colorful language, some in tongues I did not recognize. Others were gathered in and around a central tent that appeared to be serving a makeshift dining hall, eating bread and cheese and speaking animatedly.
Whoa!
Oh, that's upsetting, but also I can see why Hetty would... At first, I felt nervous. That's so upsetting, but also I completely understand, yeah.
They all look like the cover of Filth. Right?
By Swan?
Yeah, isn't that the one that's got the creepy face?
Is that the one that... Hold on, I've got that one on my iPhone right now. I should know that. Oh, yeah, okay. But with eyes.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was... I didn't remember Filth having a full face on it.
It didn't. It was just
the
creepy teeth in the black background.
ZC confirmed Swans fan? At first, I felt nervous. Was I walking into a den of Thomases? As I pushed my way through the crowd, I relaxed somewhat. Many smiled and some nodded at me as I passed. It felt as if I had walked into an illuminated manuscript. Emphasis on the man. I had drawn men building Solomon's temple so many times that I could likely have done it with my eyes closed. But if I had, it wouldn't have looked quite like this. It was with some embarrassment that I noted how different all these people looked. Tall men, short men, stocky men, pale men, and dark men, and several somewhere in between. When it came to depicting nameless figures, the most differentiating factor I'd ever thought to include was whether or not my men had a beard or a hat, and whether my women wore red or blue. In the margins of my Bibles, I had never drawn a Margaret or a Charity nor an Adela. I wanted to ask all these men where they were from and what their lives were like, but I suppose that would be rude of me. In the back of my mind, I began to worry again, and soon I was back to feeling terrified by the throngs of strangers. I did my best to tear my eyes away from these strangers. As I passed each tent, I peeked inside. Margaret had not exactly told me where this luncheon would be taking place, but as I continued deeper into the camp, the answer became fairly obvious. It's a far more ornamental tent just ahead. Flaps were peeled back to reveal a lavishly set dining table. I could see Crispin seated at the head, gesticulating animatedly at his guests. When I entered the tent for myself, he stood up and extended his arms widely.
Welcome, good sister. Margaret said we could expect you.
Margaret smiled at me gently. I apologize for my lateness. I got caught up with some clerical business on the way over.
I hope the building hasn't been too distracting for you.
He sat down again and waved at a young man standing by the exit of the tent who bowed and disappeared. Not at all, other than, Crispin cleared his throat politely. Other than the occasional loud noise. I mean, Crispin's kept up the discretion on his end, right?
Yeah.
He's said nothing about the salacious stuff Tomas had to say. So, again, uncritical support to Crispin. I think that's what we're coming down on, right? Ran over a woman? I don't know what you're talking about. It was so loud he couldn't see. Which is more amusing than anything.
I'm so used to it I barely noticed them.
I have.
Crispin laughed.
It's been wonderful having something to look at. I'd never considered construction a spectator sport, but perhaps I should keep that in mind for future projects. I could charge entry if I ever builded a convent again. Does that happen often? We had never received a contract from a nunnery until now. It's good to have connections in high places.
He reached out to squeeze his daughter's shoulder affectionately.
I heard the superior talk about building contracts and thought of you, that's all.
Margaret is like me in every conversation I had with my parents during my 20s. I so feel that right now. Why are you praising me? I've done nothing.
Linbarrow is a high place indeed. We are rather close to God up here, albeit perhaps only physically. Are you the only members of the convent? I've only seen about a dozen or so of you. Yeah, it's a bit lonely.
Just then a plate materialized in front of me. It contained golden roast bird and several colorful vegetables. The young man who had brought it bowed once again, then returned to his post next to the exit.
Thank you. You may leave. I will come fetch you when it is time to clean the place.
The servant nodded and left wordlessly.
So, you are the chronicler here, Hedwig.
Indeed, sir.
No need for that. I have to imagine that's a tough job with so few nuns in the congregation. Does it feel as if you've been tasked with writing gossip sometimes?
I can't tell what Crispin's angle is. Why? Like, he's just... Is he just trying to, like... Part of me was like, why do you care? Why do you need to know? And then other part of me is like, is he just trying to be a considerate guest and show that he's interested and willing to engage with people on their own terms about what they do? Is he just being an active listener?
Making nice with his daughter's friends.
Yep. You know, because they've always considered themselves a close-knit clique.
Yeah.
No, never, thank goodness. I tend to stay as impartial as I can.
Wise. I strive for the same in my reports.
Are those eyeballs up with a nose and the... No, that one's got to be Paratolia, right?
Raw numbers, dates, hirings and firings and the like. You can't have time for much else. You're a busy man, surely.
I felt Margaret kicking me under the table. Is that the sign for us to glare daggers at Catherine? What's the biggest building you've ever built? Look, it was the first question that came to my mind, okay?
The biggest. That's a hard question to answer. I've been all over the country, but I mostly specialize in repairs or additions. I would love to build a cathedral one day from the ground up. A whole cathedral? That could take decades, surely.
Yeah, because cathedrals were like almost generational projects.
Often, yeah.
Right? Especially the frickin' grand ones.
Centuries, perhaps. So I'd better start soon.
He grinned and swirled his goblet of wine.
Well, I am positive you, of all people, could get it done.
Another kick under the table. This meat is delicious. What kind is it?
I'm so glad you think so. It's fresh duck. I'll be sure to pass your compliment on to my cooks.
Fresh?
Indeed, I always bring some livestock to these longer jobs. Slaughtered and plucked this morning and cooked right before luncheon.
My goodness. There must be so many for a crew this big. Crispin chuckled.
I pride myself on my treatment of staff, good sister, but this sort of thing is just for me and my guests. The men have plentiful stocks of dried meats, bread and grain, and so on.
Oh!
How is Mother? Content and occupied. I asked her if she wanted to accompany me, but the journey was too long and the job even longer. She did ask me to bid you a warm greeting and ask that you write more.
Margaret rolled her eyes and Crispin chuckled.
I know, mothers. She could always write to me. She has, or so I thought. Not that I am aware.
Catherine, you can't steal those letters.
Literally all incoming mail has been stolen for years.
Literally,
that's hilarious.
She pilfered all of the incoming mail. Catherine, you can't do that.
I know she gave up some 6 months ago, perhaps a year. That's curious. I have never received anything. She addressed it to the village postmaster, I believe. It could well be that they have cretins running the place. I can vouch for that theory. The village is populated entirely by lackwits. I shall take your word for it, good sister. We spent no time there. The windows and doors were all closed when we passed, and it seemed pointless to stay the night there so close to the abbey.
Interesting. Okay. That's plausible.
Yeah.
Okay. That's and he doesn't know that he has no reason to suspect that we know anything about to contradict that, right? So I can assume that he's giving this in as good faith as possible.
Yeah, and having not been there before, he would not have a reason to know that's unusual for Linbarrow.
Correct.
Maybe it's always all closed up. Maybe it's mostly abandoned. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe they're not real folksy down there. But yeah, okay. Again, I just keep coming back to uncritical support for Crispin.
I used to live there until my husband passed. Ghastly people, judgmental morons. A testament to your grace that you served them so dutifully then, good sister.
And also so perfect at taking every one of Catherine's complaints and just turning it back around and bringing us back to the happy middle here. Kick. Wanted to help Margaret, I truly did, but my meal was finished. I could feel my usefulness to the conversation drying up. Lest I prod Catherine on details about her husband or come up with another stupid question to change the subject. Thank you so much for the lovely meal, but I think I should be returning to work.
Really, I feel like I was just getting to know you. Margaret speaks very highly of you. I was hoping to meet all of her friends.
She does? That's the sweetest thing that... oh, thank you, Margaret.
Hedwig is right, unfortunately. We really should be getting back to it. Must we? Alas, I'm sure there's much I could be doing now as well. Before you go, I would ask one thing of you, Margaret. Oh? When this job is done, the company will be heading to London. There are bridge repairs to be done, you see. Would you like to come with me? What? Leave the convent. I have a great many contacts in the city. We could find you a good husband. No. 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 I understand. I only offer in case you are unhappy here. Thank you, but no. Understood. Well.
Again, and also perfectly willing to accept no. And doesn't even ask her to elaborate, just says, all right, understood. I wanted to give you the offer in case you were unhappy here, but I will accept your... What is the other foot going to fall with this guy? But SK, didn't he look like he purposely injured one of his workers? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That was just a stray wind.
Thank you so much for indulging me, good sisters. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other before the work is through. There is plenty more duck where that came from.
Do you want another pareidolia moment?
Yeah?
There's a fucking face in the clouds there.
Huh? Yeah, there is.
That one, absolutely pareidolia, but someone in the comments going to be like, you've been pronouncing that word wrong. It's actually pareidolia, and I'm going to be like, fuck, man. He stood up and showed us the exit of the tent. Catherine looked somewhat disappointed as we stepped out into the daylight. We walked back through the busy encampment as invisible as ever.
Work? What work do you have to do, Margaret? I'll find something, I'm sure. I appreciate you two coming along. I cannot spend too long with him alone. Or at all, it seems. I know you feel inadequate around him, but come now, he seems so genuinely proud of you. He's always been a good actor.
It was Catherine's turn to beg me for help with the conversation. She turned to me with a pained look. What makes you think that he is lying?
He offered to take me away. Because he misses his daughter. I don't know, perhaps it isn't on purpose. But I know he isn't proud of me. How could he be? I haven't done anything.
Must you do something for him to love you?
Look around you. All these men, they have to work hard for his approval. His company is well regarded. He has exacting standards. When I was a little girl, I watched him fire men who could have run successful companies on their own for not measuring up. Men I would have called family. He'd fire me if I worked for him, that's for sure. I think that's a little bit different. How so? Well, you two are flesh and blood, for one thing.
You're his daughter. He doesn't need a reason to love and care for you. I'm getting so many flashbacks to my own inadequacies of early adulthood. Holy shit. I've never felt more seen in this game until this exact moment.
A rather thin dividing line.
Catherine looked at me again, but I had nothing to offer. Margaret was in quite a bad mood, and nothing we could say would fix it.
Thumim, the other sword.
The other one now. Interesting. Things are just starting to get spicy. We made our accusation today.
Yeah.
We laid it all out, and now it's
Gonna
to
fall
a
apart.
degree, it's out of our hands, right? We've done whether or not we pursue it further is up to us. We've done what the superior asked and delivered the name and the evidence we have. Thanks for playing, everyone. We'll see you all next time with hopefully less time spent laughing at Hedwig being a bottom again. Bye.
Peace.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.